I got some snowflakes on my lens.
Hi, it's Katie from Katie Cooks and Crafts, and today's tutorial will show you how to make the Rumpled Ripple Scarf. The ripple pattern is a really classic look. It's sometimes also called the zigzag pattern, but it's just these chevrons and these peaks and these valleys. And essentially, it's just a striped blanket with increases and decreases. And a lot of times zigzags are made with just the same stitch repeated over and over again, so they're a really good project for beginners. So a lot of times it's either single crochet or double crochet. You just stitch up, have an increase, stitch down, have a decrease, stitch up, have an increase, stitch down, have a decrease, and you just repeat that over and over again. So it's a really good project if you only know a couple stitches like single crochet, double crochet, and chain. For mine, I wanted it to be a little bit more interesting than that. So what I did is, instead of doing the same stitch, I decided to do mine in the cobble stitch. The cobble stitch is sometimes also called the griddle stitch, but it's just alternating single and double crochet. So you still only need to know double crochet and single crochet and chain in order to do this project. And it ends up giving the zigzag a nice texture. It's a little bit bumpy, and that's where I got the rumpled part of the name. It gives it some texture, but it doesn't take away from the chevron. It's still a nice sharp points to the peaks and the valleys of the chevron. I really like how it makes it nice and plush and thick, gives it a little bit of extra give, and I really like how it gives these solid bands of color in the chevron pattern or in the zigzag. A lot of times in zigzag patterns where you have your increases and your decreases, there'll be a slight gap. So you'll have a line of gaps that run down the length of the pattern. And that's fine for a lot of projects, but I really like the look of a solid zigzag. So for this pattern, I did get nice sharp points and no gaps, and those were two things that I really wanted in my chevron scarf. Now this pattern will show you how to make this scarf. My scarf ended up being 8 inches by 64 inches, but in the pattern, in the tutorial, I will give you adjustments so that you can make this scarf wider or narrower or longer or shorter. And you can even use this same pattern if you make it even extra wide and extra long. You can turn it into a baby blanket or an afghan or any sort of rectangular project like a washcloth even. This tutorial will show you step by step how to make this scarf. And like I said, adjustments if you want to turn it into a baby blanket or an afghan. I'll put some links in the description box, and I'll put some annotations on the screen that will take you straight to the written pattern, my crochet tutorial playlist, my blog, and also other places you can find me online like Facebook and Pinterest and things like that. If you like this pattern in this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you like crochet tutorials. I come up with new crochet tutorials all the time, and thank you so much for watching. So let's get started. This is the yarn that I'm using for this project. It's an acrylic worsted weight yarn, Vanish Choice. It's a size 4 medium yarn, and the color is Kelly Green and Radiant Lime. The hook that I'm using is a size I, 5.5 millimeter hook. This is a little bit larger than I usually use for my patterns, for my tutorials, just because this is a little bit of a denser stitch, and your finished project might end up a little bit stiff if you use too small of a hook or if you crochet very tightly. So I'm going to start by putting a slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to do my foundation chain. And for my foundation chain, I'm going to do 35. And if you wanted to make this project a little bit narrower or wider, or use the same pattern for a baby blanket or an afghan, you would just make your foundation chain a multiple of 18 minus 1. So I'm doing 2 repeats, so 18 twice is 36 minus 1, so that's where I get my 35 from. A lot of times you see repeats like this and they'll say multiples of 18 plus 1 or plus 3, but for this pattern it's just easier to do 18 minus 1. Okay, once I have my foundation chain, I'm going to start row 1. And I'm going to work a double crochet into the 3rd chain from my hook. So this is chain number 1, this is chain number 2, and this is chain number 3. And I work under these 2 loops. You can work under whatever loops you learned how to crochet or however you're comfortable. But I just work under the front 2 loops. So 1, 2, 3, I'm going to put a double crochet right there. So double crochet is when you yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, like that, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now to do the cobble pattern, it's alternating double crochet and single crochet. So I just did a double crochet, so in the next chain I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into the chain, like that. Just insert my hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2. So double crochet, single crochet. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet. Okay, and then a single crochet. Then a double crochet. And a single crochet. So you're just always alternating a double crochet and a single crochet. And we're going to do this for 7 stitches up the side of the first mountain. So we did double crochet was our first stitch, single crochet, third stitch was a double crochet, fourth stitch was a single crochet, fifth stitch was a double crochet, sixth stitch was a single crochet. So the 7th stitch is going to be a double crochet. Like that. So that's going up the side of the first mountain. 7 stitches up, starting with double crochet, ending with double crochet, and alternating double, single, double, single, double, single, double. Now at the peak of the mountain, we're going to do an increase, and the increase is going to be single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, all in the same chain. So single crochet, here we go. Single crochet, ooh, double crochet, single crochet. Okay, so 7 stitches up, peak, 7 stitches down. And again, we're going to start and end with a double crochet. So in the first stitch of going down the other side of the mountain, we're going to put a double crochet. And when you do your increase, because you're putting 3 stitches in this chain, it can sometimes pull the next chain a little bit tight. So you want to make sure you're not skipping it, you're going into the very next chain. So we're going to put a double crochet. This is the first stitch going down the other side of the first mountain. So that's 1. Then a single crochet. Stitch number 2, then a double crochet, just stitch number 3, single crochet, stitch number 4, then double crochet, stitch number 5, and single crochet. Stitch number 6, double crochet, stitch number 7. Okay, so that is your first mountain. 7 stitches up, starting and ending with double crochet, then an increase at the peak, then 7 stitches down, starting and ending with double crochet. All right. Now at the valley between the mountains, we're going to do a decrease, and the decrease is worked over the next 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3 chains. And what we're going to do is single crochet this and this, the first and the third chain together. And we're going to skip this second chain in the middle. So I'm going to start in the first chain. I'm going to do an incomplete single crochet. Then I'm going to skip this chain. Then I'm going to put an incomplete single crochet in the third chain, and then I'm going to join them together. So let me show you. In the first chain, in the next chain, we're going to put an incomplete single crochet. So insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Now we're going to skip the next chain, and in the next chain we're going to do another incomplete single crochet. So insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now we have 2 incomplete single crochets with a skipped chain in between them. Now I'm just going to yarn over and join those 2 incomplete single crochets together into one stitch. So that is the valley, your decrease between your mountains. Now we're just going to go up the next mountain, and it's going to be just like here. So we're going to start with a double crochet and end with a double crochet. Do 7 stitches in the cobble pattern up the side of the mountain. So start with a double crochet, then single crochet, then double crochet, and single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, and double crochet. So that's your 7 stitches up the side of the second mountain. Okay, so your work looks like this right now. So now we're at the peak of the second mountain. We need to do an increase again. So in the next chain, we're going to do single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, all in the same chain. So that's your single crochet, double crochet, single crochet. Now we should have 7 stitches left, and there's 7 chains left, and that's where we're going to put our final 7 stitches, starting and ending with double crochet. So double, single, double, single, double, single, and double. Okay, so I want to just go over what I just did just so everything is crystal clear. Start with double crochet, alternating your double and single crochet to get this cobble pattern, 7 stitches up, then an increase at the peak, 7 stitches down, a decrease at the valley, 7 stitches up, increase, 7 stitches down. Now when you're doing zigzag patterns, you're always going to increase at the points of your mountains and decrease at your valleys and on either end. So the very beginning and the very end of every row you need to do a decrease. If you don't put your decreases here, your project's going to start to grow out like this. So to get nice straight sides, you need to make sure you put in your decrease at the beginning and end of every row. To do the cobble pattern, we've been doing alternating single and double, single, double, single, double. When you come back with row 2, you want to make sure you're working double crochets into your single crochets and single crochets into your double crochets. So knowing those 2 things, I'm going to start row 2. I'm going to continue with this same dark green color. If you wanted to change colors after row 1, you could, but I'm going to do 3 rows in each color so I get nice wide bands of each color. Okay, from here I just need to do my turning chain and turn my work. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. So now I'm ready to start row 2. Row 2 is just like row 1. You're still going to start and end each section with a double crochet. You're still going to put your increases at the peaks of your mountains. You're still going to put your decreases at the valleys between your mountains. You're still doing 7 stitches up and 7 stitches down. The only difference is you have to remember to do from row 2 onward, you have to do a decrease at the beginning and the end of each row. So I'm going to start by doing that beginning of row decrease. Now, I'm just going to blindly tell you how to do this stitch, and then I'm going to explain it. So all you need to do is insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. That's your beginning of row decrease. Now let me go back. I'm taking that stitch out and let me explain what I'm doing here. So what I said was that you need to put single crochets into your double crochets and double crochets into your single crochets. So I'm starting with a double crochet, my next stitch is a single crochet. So I need to put a single crochet here and a double crochet here. But I also need to make this a decrease stitch. So that's why I'm doing a single crochet, double crochet, 2 together. I don't really know what it's called. If it was 2 single crochets, it would be single crochet 2 together. Or if it was 2 double crochets, it would be double crochet 2 together. But this is a single crochet, double crochet together decrease stitch. So I'm calling it beginning of row decrease stitch. So you're going to put an incomplete single crochet. That's where you insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. That's your incomplete single crochet. Then your incomplete double crochet into the next stitch is yarning over, inserting your hook, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, and pulling through 2. And then joining them together to get the decrease is yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. So that's your first stitch, and like I said, you're starting and ending with double crochet, so this is being treated as a double crochet. So if you don't know what your next stitch should be, you have 2 clues. One is your first stitch is always a double crochet, so the next stitch is always going to be a single crochet. Your other hint is this is a double crochet that you're about to work into, so you need to put a single crochet into double crochet. So that's 2 clues to tell you what your next stitch should be. So this was your decrease is being treated as a double crochet, so the next stitch is a single crochet. So that's stitch number 2. Stitch number 3 is a double crochet. Stitch number 4 is a single crochet. Stitch number 5 is a double crochet. Stitch number 6 is a single crochet. And stitch number 7 is a double crochet. So we're starting and ending each section with a double crochet just like before, 7 stitches up just like before. The only difference is that first stitch has to be beginning of row decrease stitch. We're at the peak, so we're going to do our increase, single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, all in that one stitch. Now we're going to go down this back side of the first mountain, beginning and ending with double crochet, 7 stitches down. Double, single, double, single, double, single, double. Okay, we're at the valley, so we're going to do the same decrease stitch that we did before, so it's going to be over these 3 stitches. So this is a double crochet, this was your decrease from the previous row, and there's your 3rd stitch is a double crochet. So we're going to insert the hook into the first stitch, do our partial single crochet, we're going to skip the middle stitch, we're going to go to the next stitch, do a partial single crochet, and then join them together. So that's your decrease made. Now again, up this side, start with your double crochet, then 7 stitches up, alternating your double and your single crochet, and we're back at the peak of the next mountain. So I'm going to increase here, single, double, single. Now we're at the back side of our second mountain. This is what your work should look like. So again, starting and ending with double crochet, 7 stitches down. You just have to remember to do a decrease. So over the last 2 stitches, you're going to do a decrease. So let me get to there. Just do first stitch as a double crochet, double, single, double, single. Okay. So I have 2 stitches left. I have a single crochet that I need to put a double crochet into, a double crochet that I need to put a single crochet, and I also need to do a decrease. So this is your end of row decrease. I'm going to just do it first and then I'll take it out and I'll explain it again. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, so let me explain what I've done. I have a single crochet that I need to put a double crochet. I have a double crochet that I need to put a single crochet. So I'm going to start by doing an incomplete double crochet, yarning over, inserting the hook, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, and pull through 2. That's your incomplete double crochet. Now we need to do an incomplete single crochet, so insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. That's your incomplete single crochet. And then to do the decrease, we're going to join them together. So yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. So that is the end of row 2. I'm going to do another row in the same dark green, and it's just the same repeating row 2 over and over again. So let me do my turning chain. So the last part of row 2 is to chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're going to do row 3, which is the exact same as row 2. So we're going to start with a beginning of row decrease. So the beginning of row decrease is when you insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. That's your incomplete single crochet. Then yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. That's your beginning of row decrease. Acts as a double crochet, just like we've been starting and ending each section with a double crochet. So just do single crochet, double crochet, all the way up the side of this mountain, just the same as we did with row 2. So I'm going to finish this row 3. I'm going to change colors at row 4, so I'll come back and show you how to change colors. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of row 3. I have my last 2 stitches. So over these last 2 stitches is where I'm going to put my end of row decrease, and I'm also going to join on my new color. So I have my new color here. So just like the previous row, your end of row decrease is when you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. And now to finish this stitch, you would yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. But I'm going to do that with the new color to change my colors. If you were going to do another row of the same color, you would just continue on with this yarn. But instead I'm going to continue on with a new yarn. So I'm going to drop the working yarn to the back, and then I'm also going to start the new yarn from the back. So with my yarn hand, just like this, I'm pinching both the working yarn and the short tail of the new yarn. And I'm just going to complete that stitch with the new yarn. Now what I do is I just tie a loose knot with that short tail of the new color and the working yarn of the previous color. I'm going to take this knot out and hide these ends with a tapestry needle properly at the end, but for now I'm just tying sort of a loose knot just so that everything stays where it's supposed to. Then as I crochet, the actual crochet stitches will hold everything in place until I can weave those ends in, but until I get a couple stitches on, that's what's holding the new yarn on. So I just finished that last stitch, the end of row decrease, with the new color. So from here I just do my turning chain in the new color, so yarn over, pull through, chain 1, turn the work, and then you just do another repeat of row 2. So you do your beginning of row decrease. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Then in the next stitch, single crochet. Then from here, just do the same row 2 over and over again. So I'm gonna work on this. I've done 3 rows of the dark green. I'm gonna do 3 rows of the light green, then rejoin the dark green, and just continue adding rows, and your project will grow longer and longer, and then you just stop when it's as long as you want. So I'm gonna work on this, probably gonna take me a couple days, then I'll come back and show you what mine looks like. Here's my finished scarf. In the end, I ended up doing 138 rows. So my scarf is about 64 inches long, and it ended up being about 8 inches wide. So it's a pretty bulky and thick scarf, but I really wanted something extra warm since it's been pretty cold and snowy for us here this winter. I hope that you like this pattern and tutorial. Please give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. You can check out all of my other crochet patterns on my crochet playlist. And thank you so much for watching.